Welcome, everyone, to How to Navigate College Admissions. I'm Reagan Anson with Education Quest, and tonight I'm joined by two incredible women. It's my pleasure to introduce Rashonda Austin, Director of Undergraduate Admissions at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, and Ashley Eichhoff, who is Campus Visit Coordinator in the Office of Admissions at Peru State College. Rashonda and Ashley, thank you so much for being with us tonight to share your expertise.
Happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. So before we get started, I want to let our viewers know tonight that we are once again giving away either an insulated coffee mug or a water bottle, insulated water bottle, your choice. There is going to be a link in the comments in just a few moments, and just simply click on it to register to win. Easy peasy. We'll announce the winner at the end of our presentation, so be sure to stay tuned. Also, be sure to post any questions you might have in the comments as we go. We don't want you to wait till the end because we don't want you to forget. And with that, I think let's go ahead and dive into our content. Rashonda, I'm going to start off with you. Could you talk a little bit about the differences between the types of colleges? There are, a lot of different colleges out there. There's state universities like UNO, there's state colleges like Peru, there's trade schools, private schools, community colleges. Can you share with our audience how those are different?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for inviting me here. This is awesome. But some differences between state university and state college. I think one of the more obvious ones are the size, right? Universities tend to be a little bit bigger, alongside the different programs that are offered within the university and colleges. And I'll speak more so on the university behalf because I'm a little bit more knowledgeable on that front. But for example, here at UNO, we offer grad programs, PhD programs, right? Different types of things that may not necessarily be at the colleges. So, but a bigger one is size.
Yeah, absolutely. Size is a big one. So let's talk a little bit about applying to college. When should high school students, first apply to college? When's the best time to do that? I assume there are some deadlines that they need to meet.
Yeah, for sure. So for seniors, so your senior year of high school, that is going to be the time that you apply. Typically, we have applications open up August 1st. I know that's not like standard. I know each institution may have a different time, but typically it's around the August timeframe. So the sooner the better. The sooner the opportunities for you to get information on scholarships and just kind of have things ready. So then you're not rushing at the end of your senior year, right? You want to enjoy your senior year. But the sooner the better. The applications tend to open up even before your senior year starts. So,
oh, wow. Yeah. So now, and it's not too late either, right? Like, so if someone's a senior right now, could they still apply?
No, yeah, it's definitely not too late. You can apply truly up until the week prior to classes start, even though I would say don't wait that long. Not wait that long, please.
Everyone in admissions will be mad at you, but
I know, please don't. I want you to get all the opportunities you can, scholarships and financial aid.
Sure.
But yes, there's definitely time to do it now.
Okay, awesome. Actually, kind of the same question. Can you talk a little bit about some of the deadlines you might have at Peru State?
So we are the same with opening our application August 1st. So senior year that you would be applying, and then we have, yes, up until classes start, but it makes us very stressed out for you. You can do it, but there's a lot to do quickly. So if you can take that stress off. Also, I would say just you can apply, especially if applications are free. I mean, you're not out anything. So I think sometimes students think that if they're applying, they're committing to that school, but it's okay to apply to get your scholarship packages and see your different, financial options for those schools without actually deciding where you're going to go. So that's why I would say don't wait. There's not really a reason to wait for that.
And speaking of that, I mean, so students often do apply to multiple colleges, right? Because they're not sure and they're having to do it fairly early. So when Ashley, you want to speak to when should they make their final choice, or when's that sort of drop date? Like you need to make a choice by now in order to get everything done that you need done.
So I think May 1st has kind of always been your unofficial, I would say, decision day. But I think usually students are waiting for financial aid packages and things, and those tend to come maybe February, at least from kind of our area, scholarship announcements, that sort of thing. So I think probably anytime now till May would be really your kind of deciding time, but I don't think there's a date you have to be decided by, I guess, until, I mean, school starts, but don't feel pressured like you have to decide right now.
Sure. Rashonda, any input on that? And also, when's the best time for students to apply for campus housing? Is it kind of at this, do they do that at the same time that they're applying for admission, or is it a separate process?
Yeah. I would agree with Ashley. May 1st is probably the best time. So then at least you're ready for, enrollment days. Those typically happen in the summer, where you come on campus. So then you want to make sure you have the right major, right? I don't want you to necessarily go into IS&T if you really want to do arts, the arts. So May 1st, it's a good rule of thumb. But housing, that's a separate application at UNO. So once a student is admitted, then they are able to apply for housing through what's called MavLink. It's going to be your home away from home for students. They will live in MavLink, but that is where they apply for that. And it is a separate application. That application tends to open up November 1st. And it is a rolling application, but again, the sooner the better. Students are matched up with their potential roommates, I want to say around March or April. And then they start signing their contracts May, June. So you want, if you have a friend you want to live with, you have to make sure you match with each other and just make sure the sooner the better, especially if you have, some friends you want to have that college experience with.
Absolutely. Great advice. So, Rashonda, I'm going to stick with you on this next question. What kind of admissions requirements do you have at UNO? What can students expect? And and this will be for both of you, I guess, how do they differ among the colleges? I know each of you are part of a college system. The University of Nebraska Omaha is part of the University of Nebraska system, and Peru State is part of the state college system. So I'm assuming there's some similarities within those camps, but also, do you want to just speak to some of the requirements and what students can expect?
Yeah, for sure. So for incoming freshmen, students we are looking for the core course requirements to be completed. So it's 4 years of English, 3 years of math. That is including Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. 3 years of world history, 2 years of foreign language. World language, and they do have to be the same language. And then 3 years of science, including a lab. So those are the core course requirements that we're looking at. In addition to, so it's that and one of the ACT of a 20 or above, top 50% of the class, or 3.0 GPA. So it's the core course and one of those. It's not, you have to have all those and the core course. So it's or, you don't have to look at it as an and. But even with that being said, students who, all that I said is what's required. We look at applications holistically. So let's say, the school doesn't require world language. Please still apply. We will look at the application. We'll look at it holistically. And maybe that's something you'll just do when you're here at UNO, right? Or maybe didn't do so hot Algebra 2 second semester. That's okay. Please still apply. We can see, you tried your best as a student, and maybe, because that's not my jam.
Me either.
So I would get it. I would look at it and be like, I get it. I understand.
Yeah, I get it.
But please still apply. It's looked at holistically to review, to make sure we get students to where they want to be.
That's great. Great advice. Ashley, how about at Peru State and the state college system?
Sure. State colleges, we don't have the core course requirements, although I will say most high schools set their graduation requirements with the university. So there's a pretty good chance if you're graduating from your high school, you've probably taken those core requirements. Maybe the foreign language, like you said, might be the only one that might not be, but we don't have those, but we're we'll look at, your transcript that you've taken those classes, but not requirement. We're open enrollment in the state college system. So that means there's not a minimum ACT or GPA that you have to have for admissions purposes. So we really have a mission of access for all students to be able to access higher education. So don't have minimums. We'll look at some of those things for scholarships and that sort of thing. But as far as admissions, no minimum ACT or GPA, just on track to graduate high school that next spring.
That's great. That's helpful. And so I want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned scholarships, Ashley, and I want to talk a little bit about that. How do students go about applying for college-based scholarships? And maybe you know how that process might differ for a 4-year college or a 2-year community college, but can you talk a little bit about how students apply at Peru State, for example, for college-based scholarships?
Sure. For all of our competitive awards, we tried to make it easy on the students and on us. So they just submit a personal statement. So a scholarship essay, I would say students start working on one of those right now and just have it in your pocket ready to go. You're going to use it for a lot of scholarships. Just make sure you change the school that you're sending it to in the essay. I've seen some funny things, but so we just have one personal statement that a student submits for that. Other than that, the RHOP is a separate application. So if you're not aware, that's the Rural Health Opportunity Program. All of the state colleges have programs in that, and that is a separate application with an earlier deadline of December 1st across the board. So I would say even within, I know the state college system, we might have the same scholarships, but we all get the freedom to award them are in our own parameters, really. So you do have to kind of keep track of that. I think with schools and how they might have different scholarship deadlines for the same scholarship, that sort of thing. I'm sure the university system probably the same way because you have your same scholarships that have that. So, but that's ours as personal statement. January 15th is our deadline for those competitive ones other than the RHOP.
Sure. Rashonda, how about you? What's the process for applying for scholarships at UNO?
Yeah, real quick, I want to jump back for the admissions requirements. I will say, just for everyone's awareness, I know each institution, even though we're in the NU system, Carnegie, Lincoln, and UNO have different requirements. So if you're looking at those different schools, and by all means, shop. That's what you're supposed to do to figure out what's the best fit for you. Make sure you look at those requirements because they all are different. So, but for scholarships, I'm sorry. So we have merit-based scholarships that students just have to, when they submit their application to UNO, that puts them in the running for our merit-based scholarships. So we have a few different tiers that range from about $1,000 to the cost of tuition, which give or take the dollar amounts maybe like $6,700. So those are the merit-based scholarships, just looking at the ACT, GPA, and or class ranking. So now that we're test optional, we look at the GPA as well if the student decides not to submit their ACT. But that's all that students need. It's just submitting their application. That is it. We will let them know if they're eligible, and we can award based on self-report, which is nice. So students can know ahead of time kind of what they're looking at. And then when we get their official scores, of course, then it becomes official. But then there's other scholarships, like we have UHOP, so just like RHOP, but just urban. Those deadlines tend to be pretty early. I want to say they moved it to about January 15th this past year. We have our Scott Scholars program, which is for students who are going into STEM. It's a pretty competitive scholarship. That due date is early December. The Buffett Scholarship, that's February. And then we have another big one called Goodrich. The Goodrich Scholarship, that is specifically to UNO, that is March 1st. But all that to be said, there is also a portal that we use. It's called the General Scholarship Application through MavLink. So students submit their information, their intended major, their resume, and then it kind of kicks back to let you know, like, hey, you may be eligible for this scholarship. Go ahead and fill it out and submit it. There's a lot of different opportunities, but the merit-based ones are kind of one and done with the application, which is nice.
That's great. Yeah, making it easy on students. Pro tip for our audience, if you're out there looking for scholarships right now, at educationquest.org, we have Scholarship Quest, which is sort of a repository of 2,000 Nebraska-based scholarships that you can search through to see what you might be eligible for. Also, last month, we did a webinar or a live stream with students from across the state who'd earned a ton of scholarships. Two of the students were from UNO and Peru State. And they talked at great length about what they did to do that. And they talked about how many scholarships are out there. And one of the students talked about treating it as almost a job, doing an application for an hour a day, because sometimes you might spend an hour on a scholarship application and you get $500. That's $500 an hour, right? So anyway, so our audience can go back and take a look at that live stream. It's on our YouTube channel to get some pro tips from our students who really did amazing stuff in earning scholarships. And I know I'm grateful to both of you and your colleges for making that process easy for students. And also, we always want students to keep in mind there are so many different scholarships out there that, yeah, there's a lot of them that are academic, but some of them are based on volunteerism. Some of them are based on talent. There's just such a wide variety. And so to really spend some time, go out online and do some searching and see what you can find. So Rashawn, I'm going to stick with you for the next question. Actually, what's the best way for students to talk directly with your admissions reps?
Yeah. So we do a lot of outreach. So by all means, you can respond to our text message. It's not a robot. It's typically my staff. Yeah, it is my staff reaching out. So you can respond to the text message. Email is of course the quickest. When they start to travel, like right now, I have a couple people in Colorado. So emails tends to be the quickest. Phone call. And then we do have Calendly, if anyone's familiar with what that is. But Calendly is kind of a nice system where you can schedule based off of the date that you have available, and it gives you a bunch of different times. And whatever works for you will work for the team because it's connected to their Outlook. So that's a really nice tool that we're trying to get out there a little bit more. So it's easier for parents too, right? To make sure they're involved in what schedule works best for the students and the parents. So
you can just go online and make an appointment and get it all done. Easy. Nice. Ashley, how about you? Any advice you have for people when they need to talk to your admissions folks?
Yeah, I would say the same with if we text you, it is really us texting, so you can respond. We like it. It makes us feel good. Always, of course, the website is easy contact. Call our office or, we're out there. So come see us. If you see a rep is coming to your high school, take advantage of that. I know sometimes it's really hard for students to not want to miss class or that kind of thing. But if you can make it work, come see the reps that are at your school. We will have a big swing of college fairs in the fall. So don't mind my dog barking over there. So come visit us at those college fairs. So we've added a week in Lincoln up to all the high schools there, and then a week in Omaha now too. So that's really exciting. Nice. So those are good opportunities to come see us.
Absolutely. I want to talk to you a little bit, Ashley, about the college visit, the campus visit. That's kind of your area of expertise.
It is.
So can you talk about the value in that and what students should do and look for while they're on that campus visit?
Sure.
And maybe a little bit about the role a parent can play in that process.
Yes. So it sounds really cheesy, but it's you need to come to campus to get a feel. So it's great if you talk to us at your high school or look at online at videos or that sort of thing, but it really sounds cheesy. But after students have done more than one visit, they'll say, oh yeah, I get it now. So I think just getting onto campus, we offer individual visit experiences. So you meet one-on-one with someone from admissions, go on a tour, have an academic appointment with a professor, and then we can offer additional appointments as well. So athletics, theater, music, that sort of thing. All of those, financial aid if you want a meeting with them, all of that sort of stuff we can facilitate for you for that. So I think the individual visit is great. We also offer a few group visit options, which can be good, especially for underclassmen. So we have some weekend visit days, that sort of thing, that you can come to campus and do that. And then we'll have some events, like we have a criminal justice day coming up, which we're really excited about in the end of April. So if you're interested in the criminal justice field, you get to come and meet the professors and go to our crime lab and go to the shooting simulator and just do all kinds of fun stuff like that. So you
can I come? That sounds awesome.
I inserted myself into it so that I can participate.
Smart woman. Smart
So,
woman.
yes, but I think it is just really important to do that visit, and so much so that I made it my job.
Right.
And I would say parents, typically in my experience, if as soon as come on a visit by themselves, they're usually going to end up bringing their parent back at some point. You have to. So if you can, just bring your parent with you right away, because they're going to say, I need to see this place
Right.
for that.
Right.
But
right. It's like, it's like I always, we say it's like trying out a pair of shoes, right? Like you wouldn't probably buy a pair of shoes, except it's way more expensive. So you want to make sure that it's a right fit. Rashonda, any tips from you on the campus visit experience?
No, I mean, truly what Ashley said, go visit. It sounds cheesy, but make sure it feels like home as best can be, right? You're going to be there for 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe if you get, if you continue to be in school, you're going to be there for a long time. So make sure it feels as home can feel. Because you'll know right away. You'll know right away if it's not the place for you. And that's okay. At the end of the day, all of us want to just make sure you are getting to where you want to be and you're comfortable in that position.
Right. Absolutely. So I want to talk to you to sort of wrap up our planned sort of remarks tonight with a two-part question. Rashonda, we'll stick with you for this one. What are the most common questions that you get asked? And are there questions that you wish students would ask that maybe they don't, or parents?
Yeah. I'll start off with what I wish.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish they would just ask more questions. Just overall, ask questions. You're not bothering anybody. You're not burdening anybody. Please know that we want to make sure you feel comfortable with the decision you're making, because it's a huge decision. Like I said, you're going to be here. This is your job. When you're a student, it's basically your job, and you're going to be here for a couple of years. So just ask all the questions. If you have specific questions, financial aid or a specific college or whatever the case may be, we want to guide you to those next steps. But as admissions and representatives, we don't know what you don't know. So we don't always want to assume that you may know. So please just ask all the questions. Give us a list. I love when parents come in, they're like, all right, 1 through 20. I'm like, yes, I have this ready. But what was what are common questions?
Yeah. Any common questions that you want to address that might help our audience?
I mean, the common question I would say is, how can I pay for college? Right.
Sure.
That is always a big one. It's always the elephant in the room. And just wanting to make sure, again, that students, families, they feel comfortable trying to figure out all the things, utilizing scholarship quests. I don't know how many times I like, hey, all the scholarships, $50, $500, apply for them, because it's going to add up. But yeah, that's great. The one.
That's a big one. We in our world, we get that question a lot too. Like we're like, file your FAFSA. That's what you need to do. First thing, get on that FAFSA, get it submitted, see what you're eligible for free money, grants, scholarships, all those kinds of things, and then solve the rest of it. But Ashley, over to you. I want to ask you, like, what questions do you wish students or parents would ask when they come to see you at Peru?
Oh, sure. I mean, we get all the common. I think students are really curious, what is the dorm life like and what does that look like? I think that's the burning question that they never maybe ask, but that's weighing heavily on their mind. And then what's the food like too? I think is pretty common, very important things. I wish that more students would ask about how to get involved, just because I want them to think about their entire college experience, which entails so much more than just their major or just maybe the athletic, team that they're going to be a part of. So I wish that they would ask more questions. And I think that goes to a little bit, they don't know what they don't know. So I try to just tell them and pick it out for them how they will be involved. But I think I wish they would, just maybe think a little broader, I guess, on that. So
that's great.
Also, we try to encourage multiple visit experiences if a student can do it. So to come back and, sit in on a class or go to a club meeting, go to a choir performance, go to a basketball game, whatever they're interested in, just again, to see if they feel like that's something feels like they're wanting to be a part of.
Yeah. Any sort of a final thoughts question? Any what's your best advice for students and families, or just anything that you want them to know, or anything that you can say to make the process easier for them?
It's
Well,
okay.
I would say explore your options would be mine, I think. Or did I steal yours? Sorry, Rashawn.
No, I think ours went hand in hand really well, so that's
Yeah.
fine.
I would say explore your options. Even, if you think maybe something's out of reach, it might not be. And you never know until you go and, kind of put pen to paper if it's, something that seems like it maybe financially is out of reach or not gonna happen. So I would just say explore your options and different options, and so you can find your best path.
Great advice. Rashonda, any final thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, explore your options, take your time. Like the process, it starts early, and it's better to kind of start it early, so then you have time to then explore the options and kind of like breathe, because it's a lot all at once. Senior year, kind of remember, but it's okay. And students, use your voice. Use your voice. It's okay, to ask the questions that you may be scared to ask, but college can be a different world where you have that agency to advocate for yourself. But yeah, ask all the questions.
That's awesome. We're going to take some questions from our audience here in just a minute, but appreciate you guys so much sharing this information for students and families who are starting to go through this process, or doing it now, or will be doing it in the fall. But before we get there, before I take questions, I want to just remind our audience of a couple of free tools. Everything that we do at Education Quest is free. So go to educationquest.org, check it out. There are tons of resources on there for people who want to go to college, and great advice. One of the things I specifically want to mention is college profiles. So to find colleges all over the United States that meet your criteria, you can go in and search by school name, location, tuition cost, school type, majors. I mean, there's just everything that you can search by and get a list of schools that fit your criteria. And then you can save that list to My College List and do side-by-side comparisons. And that can be really, really helpful. And of course, we already mentioned Scholarship Quest, which is a great resource to search for all that free money. Get it all while you can. So, okay, so we've got a couple of audience questions. And one of them is, how many schools can I apply to? Who'd like to answer that? Ashley, you want to go?
How much time do you have? As much time as you have. Yeah, I mean, no limit at all. I would just say watch if there's, some will be free applications, some won't be. So maybe just watch that. But also, I know the university system usually does a free application week or month or something in there. So even though there could be ones that have a fee with them, there might be times when there's no fee. So take advantage of those.
The sky's the limit. Just go after it, whatever you want to do. Rashawn, I'm going to ask you the next one. What's different for out-of-state applicants, if anything?
That's a good question.
Yeah, very good question. What is different? The cost of tuition is different. I will say that we are expanding things a bit different. So we have 11 surrounding states that are going to get a tuition break, for lack of better words, which is different than what it was last year. So that's nice. Those are truly everything that's touching Nebraska. So, but other than that, that's truly about it. It's just the tuition rate is different. They still go through the same process of the orientation and I guess the only other thing would be the enrollment days are in person. When within 250 miles. Outside of that, if you would like to just do it online via Zoom, then that's an option. So
that's great. One other question we had come in, is it okay to start college without a major if you don't know what you want to do? Ashley, you want to take that one?
Absolutely. I had 2 seniors visiting today and they weren't really sure. So, I mean, if we are all honest, like, would we know what we would major in? I mean, no, right? There's so many things to choose from. So absolutely come in undecided. It does not hurt. You have general studies requirements, which if you're not familiar with what that is, those are going to be requirements that every student has to take at the college that apply towards any major. And the point of those is to make you have a well-rounded education and experience. So you're going to take a science, an English, history, math. So some of those things maybe we feel like we don't like, but it's good for us to do that. And so that's kind of your opportunity to figure that out. Also, at Peru, we have, career services that helps our students that are undecided. So I'm sure most colleges that you're looking at have something like that that can help you explore. We usually try to take more of a, what are your interests? And then what kind of careers can come from those interests and what major do you need for that? So instead of just saying straight out, what do you want to major in? So totally fine. Don't stress out about it. You're probably going to change it even if you come in with something declared.
A lot of people do. It's very common, and it's a great opportunity to kind of figure out what it is you love to do and to explore, because when else are you going to have those kinds of opportunities? So it's great. So I know we could probably go on all night with questions. I want to say thank you, everybody who submitted questions. If we didn't get yours tonight, be sure to call our office tomorrow. Go to educationquest.org. All our contact information is there. We'd be happy to help you. And I know these ladies would be happy to help you if you wanted to call them tomorrow as well. So before we wrap up and get to our prize drawing, I want to remind our audience also that the best way to stay up to date with everything college related is to follow Education Quest on social media. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. And just by following us, you could have a chance to win a $500 Get Social scholarship. All you have to do is like or follow or subscribe to any of those. Okay. It's across the board. Easiest scholarship money you'll ever earn. And we've given out, I think, 3 this fall. So, get our numbers up there and we'll keep giving out money. Also, sign up for our Countdown to College, which is our monthly e-newsletter that keeps you up to date on all the important deadlines. And we'll give you great advice on everything related to college planning. We'll have a link in the comments for you. Easy to just fill out the form and we'll get you on that email list. And you can always make an appointment with Education Quest. We offer free help. Everything we do is free. Call us with your questions, set up an appointment, go to educationquest.org. All of our phone numbers and location information is there. We are in Omaha, Lincoln, and Kearney, and we even have a rep out in Western Nebraska. So we're here to help. That's what we do. So now the moment I know everyone has been waiting for, and that's the winner of our free drawing. And it is, I'm probably going to just butcher this last name, but Jennifer Tijeras is the winner. So Jennifer, yay! Congratulations. We will reach out to you and get your contact information and other details. But I want to thank everyone again for being here tonight. Ladies, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and all these amazing tips. And we will see our audience right back here on March 22nd, when we're going to talk to a couple of amazing high school counselors about how best to prepare for college while still in high school. So we'll see everybody then. Thanks, ladies. Great to see you.
Bye.
Thanks.